Welcome back to 7th Grade Mustache. On today's episode, we'll be speaking about a bright future. No matter what may come, black lives will thrive under the bright sun. Born into a wild and dangerous landscape, tribal wars and human atrocities, slavery and colonization, Jim Crow and discrimination, the drug trade, police brutality, and the influence of the prison industrial complex. MK Ultra pushing self-destructive messages in music and visual entertainment, and still we rise. On this show, we talk about a lot of things that you need to be aware of, things that can be of great harm and can be tremendous obstacles within your life. But today, on this episode, I want to talk about how we approach our lives and our day-to-day reality. The future changes all the time because there are many alternate realities that bleed into this reality. Consider the nature of reality. Reality in Buddhism is called Dharma. Bodhidharma once said, "What we think, we are." All the visions that we see in our lifetime are like a big dream. In this context, the term visions speaks to not only visual perceptions, but also appearances perceived through all senses, including sounds, smells, tastes, tactile sensations, and operations on received mental objects. Think of it like this. Your life is a pattern, and the things that manifest within your life are reflective of that pattern. So if you are struggling for long periods of time in your life, look at what is causing the struggle, both internally and externally. Sometimes you meet people who just cannot get a break. And when you take a closer look at these people, sometimes they are part of the problem. Some people continuously put themselves in harm's way. And this is a combination of patterns and thinking that's developed early. Now, some people are addicted to adrenaline from the womb because it's transferred from the mother and possibly the father, considering the domestic situation. But people get used to this roller coaster of emotions, or they seek it, not knowing that this has become part of their wiring. But you have to develop a sense of awareness so that you understand who you are, why you are, and what you will be based off of your thought patterns.
Also, what you can control too. Like a lot of people won't admit that they're the problem for this shit, or they seek this shit out. You know, relationships, not just personal ones, but like interpersonal ones. Sometimes people have a tendency to go around people they shouldn't go around over and over again, even though you've changed the location, but you still seek out the same type of people. You know, addiction, prime example of that shit. Hanging around with a certain sort of type of crowd. It's not bad luck. It's, being around those negative influences.
But some people like to play the odds, and sometimes they do so in a dangerous manner. For example, when between elementary school and high school, there is this time of great experimentation where you are trying out all kinds of different stuff to see what's cool, what you like, what you can get away with, all these things. And there's situations you'll be in with your friends where you'll say, okay, how far can we go until we get burned, or, we get punished for something that we're doing that we shouldn't be doing, which is, i.e., dangerous or criminal behavior. Because you really don't get into trouble for things unless you're doing some shit you shouldn't be doing. So that's why kids go out and they try all this crazy shit to test the limits.
Yeah, we thought our parents were omnipresent. We thought our parents just knew. Like, how'd they know? So also, sometimes your parents know your behavior. Like, okay, yeah, he's going to try this, or he's going to do that, and it's not going to end well. And they try to give you advice before you do the shit, but sometimes we can't help it. We got to see for ourselves. But hopefully you can recover from it, or it's nothing that negative.
But trial and error. Young people learn through trial and error. The reason why I say young people is because after a certain point in your life, there's certain universal truths that you begin to live by and accept as your reality. Because there's a lot of stuff that you don't have to learn over and over and over once you learn it the first time. Like, for example, when you're a small child and you're in the kitchen with your mother and the stove is on, and you reach up and you touch the stove and you burn your hand. Okay, I don't like that feeling. I'm not going to do that again. That transfers forward in time through so many different situations. For example, I grew up in a dangerous time, and gunshots were something that you would often hear. Or you would find yourself in social gatherings and where you did not go there for the smoke, but the smoke showed the fuck up on more than one occasions. Often by clockwork, you would see the usual suspects begin to show up, and then old Smoky Smoke was there. But we still wanted to live and have a good time, and we wasn't going to let these knuckleheads destroy our joy. And so we continued to go out weekend after weekend seeking a good time. And these assholes knew where people would gather to have a good time, and assholes begat other assholes, and they bump into each other. And of course, because they have the IQ of a housefly, they gonna throw down.
Your conflict would ensue.
Every time, like clockwork. And then adults would get angry, and they would do things, and they would curtail things. And long story short, a couple of bad apples spoiled the entire crop for a lot of people, because it ended up making the adults put curfews on for certain places, couldn't wear certain clothes, not even colors, clothes in certain places. Young black men couldn't gather groups of 3 or more, dress codes for stupid shit. Man. And there was always this feeling like these motherfuckers just keep fucking it up. And like they contributed nothing to the culture. Nothing at all. And all they did was destroy. So then I began to see, oh, okay, this is being taught, is being encouraged, but not by the people who you would think are encouraging this. It turns out, if you're a regular listener of this show, the influencers were people in Washington, D.C., or downtown at the top of skyscrapers in boardrooms, or at retreats, corporate retreats, who had these young black kids in the inner city on their minds more than you would realize. And it's strange because naturally we wouldn't think about this stuff, but then rappers would put this stuff into music, like, listen, these motherfuckers are doing this, that, and the third, and we would talk about it. We would cipher up, we would build, we would sit down, and we would exchange ideas, and we would read books and be like, dude, in this book right here, I learned about this, but I didn't just take it for granted from there. I went and looked from other places to cross-reference it to make sure I wasn't being fed some bullshit. And there were all different types of cool-ass books that would come out at this time to help you raise your consciousness out of the mud, because these idiots that were mindless and they were being controlled by an industrial complex of different flavors, they weren't dictating my narrative. They weren't dictating the shape of my life or where I was going to go. So in reflecting on these things recently, I reflected on the course that my people have taken through this reality since the beginning. And so that's why when I think about all the way in Africa and surviving for millions of years against the harshest of odds, and then still there's other people who want to come and take what you have, and they take you away from home, and they bring you somewhere else, and they treat you like shit, and you gotta fight for your rights until, you reach a point where things are somewhat cool for the most part, but there's still this constant push to control us and everybody. But it come to find out, they were just perfecting their skill set on us that they were going to use for the rest of the world.
They practiced the shit in the ghetto, perfect it, didn't give it to everybody else.
Exactly. So then, when people, it's so funny because all this stuff starts happening to the world, and I'm just sitting back laughing my ass off. Y'all motherfuckers did not listen. We were telling you that they were doing this shit to us. And now that it's happening to you, now that it's happening to white America, middle America, oh, now it's real. See, you had to get your head bust on the concrete until you understand how evil the people are doing the head busting.
It's not that the people are hard-headed. It's the fact.
Oh no, it's because they're hard-headed. They're hard-headed. They're fucking hard. Don't apologize. Don't be apologists.
No. It's not even that. It's the fact that they've gotten away with it so long that they thought that their whiteness was going to protect them. Like, hey man, they don't do this to us. And it's a prime example.
But no. See, yeah, it is, because the whiteness did protect them, because that is entitlement, and that's the advantage these people are born with.
Look, Richard Pryor said there and said that maybe next time you see somebody in the hood needing help, you'll help them. See, he was talking about the drug epidemic. It wasn't an epidemic until it got to your neighborhood. It was fine when the drugs were in my neighborhood. You probably could have stopped the shit by doing certain things, bringing back the jobs, et cetera, et cetera. But instead, you laugh and say it couldn't happen to us. Then next, thing you know, you got old people taking pills and young people doing meth. It's an epidemic. We saw with the opioid epidemic that went completely to middle America. Shit, you know what I'm saying? That was not, that bypassed the hood and jumped directly to your neighborhood. And now all of a sudden you're suing all these companies and shit, and I can't get no medicine for my back now. But the thing is that, like I said, back in the day, like okay, that's not coming to our neighborhood. You know, you heard people talk about North Omaha or people talk about whatever, and I'm like, no, I mean you act like we make the pills. We're not making the opioids. We're not making the codeine. And that shit is made in a factory someplace, and then it accidentally gets in our streets. Um, all those rap songs about promethazine, that was some self-fulfilling shit. You know, so don't don't pretend like it couldn't happen to you or your neighborhood's insulated. It's not. And what happened was Big Pharma was making so much money, they didn't give a damn. You know, you guys were just a number two. So now it's an issue, and now they've changed laws and done everything else, and they're trying to hold these different companies accountable. And for so somebody had to write them prescriptions. You got a lot of doctors going to jail over that bullshit. But all we're saying is that you know it's no longer isolated, and you're not being protected because of your color. You are just a number also, and that and these people don't care about your well-being. So you stop laughing when the hood goes through something or the ghetto goes through something because it's only two steps away from your neighborhood, middle America, poor white. And we don't have suburbs anymore, but these small communities, these rural communities, they got meth everywhere now.
So let's talk about removing obstacles from your path. Isaiah 43:16 and Isaiah 18 through 19. He who made a way through the sea, a path through the mighty waters. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and the streams in the wasteland. Right there, he's speaking about no matter how rugged this shit is around us, do not let it crush you. You must move forward. So let's talk about identifying these obstacles. First, obstacles reveal your true identity. Some life challenges will rip you apart. When this occurs, you get to know who you truly are. Sometimes you don't know your full capabilities and tendencies. Obstacles exist to test you and stretch you beyond your limits. The next is obstacles direct your action. Someone once said you could walk on water. You only need to know where the stones are placed. The stumbling blocks on your path create a new way to get to the next level or phase. For instance, if someone continually hurts your feelings, the situation allows you to practice the art of forgiveness. Every problem comes with its own solution. You need only to shift your perspective to uncover the lessons that challenges have to teach you. The next one is obstacles make you tougher. No one comes with a natural ability to withstand challenges. You have to develop your resilience through life. Don't think that shit will come to you on a platter of gold. That only happens in the grave, in the afterlife. As long as you're here, you have to overcome obstacles and surmount difficulties. The essence of obstacles is to toughen you so that you can be courageous. If you would be the best that you could possibly be, then you have the courage to change your circumstances, to improve yourself and the world around you, the world within your reach. If you discover you are losing courage, obstacles can toughen you so that you can move to the next phase. Obstacles enable you to focus on what counts. Not everything counts in life, so you need to focus on your goals and pursue your life missions. Once you are clear about your goals and tasks, every obstacle that comes your way looks smaller and manageable. So, one thing that I live by is being uncomfortable. You have to learn to get uncomfortable. I'm talking about physically and mentally. Everybody has a little bitch inside them. I don't give a shit how strong you are. At one point, there's a little bit of bitch in everybody. And there's that thing that's like, I don't want to do that. I don't like that. Kill that motherfucker. You just keep smashing them with Thor's hammer. It keeps coming back every time. Smash them, smash them, smash them, smash them until it's just a distant memory. Because if you can walk a mile in wet shoes, in wet socks, dude, you can do anything. I mean a real mile in some wet ass clothes. Listen, when I was a kid, I would go outside and I would go far from home and it'd be wintertime and I'd be playing. And I would get soaking wet. You get soaking wet because you're out there having fun. You're just tearing it up. You might get some snow down your back, inside your coat. That was always the worst. Sometimes you didn't have the right gloves, or you didn't have gloves at all, and you had socks on your fucking hands. If you know what I'm talking about, holla if you hear me. And you get these wet fucking hands. Or you get like some snow down your ankle in your boots. And you got to walk home with this cold. You can tough it out. You have to tough it out. There's no choice. Because home is like a half a mile away. But you chose to go to your friend's house that you only play with every once in a while. And it's a snow day, so everybody's out from school. So we all going to go have this big snowball fight. So it's like, yo, we about to go battle. We about to have a snowball fight. Let's go. And, shit gets crazy. Some people they get mushed. They get mushed into the snow. They got picked up and slammed into the snow. It gets real. Snowball fights get real where I'm from.
Yeah, it's some epic shit. It's some beautiful shit.
But there is nobody on that battlefield afterwards that is not scarred or cold or wet or soggy in some way. Because at the end of that play, everybody goes home with their dirty clothes.
There's a consensus. Like, you've got wet enough. Like, it doesn't matter what you got on. You could have socks with plastic bags between them. But at some point, that shit soaked through and we're all like in the same stage.
Everybody is miserable.
Yeah.
And everybody is going to their laundry room to take all that crap off. Because that's what your mama says. Like, don't bring no wet clothes in here. Go to the laundry room and take that stuff off.
Downstairs.
Yeah, go downstairs. Yeah, because I was in the basement too. And go take that shit off. Yep. And then, but you know what? You feel good actually after you get all that crap off of you. After you get some hot chocolate or some warm food in you. And you can go watch cartoons or play video games, whatever. You feel good because you went and did a thing. You went and did a thing with your friends and you guys had an adventure. And yeah, you paid a little cost for being uncomfortable. But you had fun. You came through it joyous on the other side.
And you can talk about it. It's just amazing.
It's a shared experience.
Yeah, yep.
And, you guys might talk about it, at the lunch table in school, Monday or some shit like that. You know what I mean? And, it's fun, but it builds character too. That's another thing I tell people that in the South or out West, growing up in the Midwest makes you tough. And that's not a brag. It's just a fact. It makes you tough.
Everywhere you grow up is going to make you tough, but it's for different reasons. Like, we went outside and played in some deplorable conditions. Like literally, whether
No. This is why I gotta hang on this for a second because, man, I'm in situations with dudes all the time working and shit, and they're always complaining about shit like the weather or the fucking cold. I'm like, stop being a bitch. You know what I'm saying? It be dudes from like Florida or like Alabama, some shit, some warm ass place, and some like, bro, stop being a little bitch. Like, just suck it up, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fine. Just keep going.
and like I said, everybody's tough for different reasons. But when it comes to cold, shit, we had to take care of shit. Like,
what?
Before school, we were forced to play outside.
To walk the dog and that shit.
Shit, look, whatever.
Shoveling snow.
Yeah, you had a responsibility. Like for me, I come from a single parent situation. It's my job to shovel the snow. When my mom get home, she needs to be able to pull her car in the driveway, and she had expectations. And if you didn't do the shit, okay,
there's consequences. There's consequences, motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my ass beat, and she gonna be out there shoveling. But like I said, I think one of the funny things recently, Mike Tyson was talking about the difference between getting knocked out and a body shot. He said, anybody, if you get hit by a bump can hit you in the jaw and knock you out, but a body shot, you have to decide not to get up. No matter if you hit your liver and all that stuff, he said you decide not to get up at some point. And he said a body shot is different because you're fully conscious. Like your legs might not work, but you decided not to get up. And he's talking about the difference between. He said, yeah, anybody can separate you from your consciousness if they hit you in the temple or in the jaw, or but a body shot to get knocked out or get knocked down from a body shot, you made a decision not to get. And he talking. People are laughing, but
That's real shit, though.
Yeah, yeah. He said there was a decision made not to get up, and so those are the things that you experience, and that's why being from a certain place or going through a certain experience is going to make you tougher, stronger, whatever you want to call it. But like,
dude, see, I was doing some work for a cat, this dude from New York yesterday, street cat, same age, and we were laughing and shit because we were talking about like this coming from like up north and shit. And he's like, "Where you from?" I said, "Man, I'm from Omaha." He's like, "Yep." He knew. He's like, I said, I said the cold, dude. He's like, the cold. He's like, cold make you tough. And he's from New York. He said the same fucking thing, like, cold make you tough, man. I was like, yep, because you gotta deal with it. That's the one thing, you got to deal with it. Like, there is no like, all right, I'm gonna run the car. No, motherfucker, like, walk your ass to school. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to deal with it.
Like, if we were late, we got in trouble. Like, we got our ass beat. Like, you couldn't be late to school. So
move closer to the phone.
Oh shit! So whatever the fuck happened, we had to deal with it. Like, our parents gave us like specific instructions. You got to be at school at 8:45, and do not be late. And it didn't matter what kind of car accidents, didn't matter how cold it was, didn't matter none of that shit. All you knew was that don't let the motherfuckers call your parents at work because it was your ass. And we got in trouble. It was a whole different vibe. Kids nowadays don't give a fuck. They missed the bus. So what? Nah, none of that shit. We were little adults. We were being raised to be adults. We weren't grown kids. We weren't. There was no. You have look. This is how you're going to have to get to work when you're grown. So you got to learn how to do this shit now. That's how we were. We were learning how to.
But you know what else though? Like there was also positive programming in the entertainment that we had as kids because there were masculine men in cartoons and strong people, you know what I mean? Like, I have the power, let's go, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Joe, let's fucking get it done. There were all these images of like, yes, you can. Yeah, you can fucking do it. Put your mind to it. No one is half the battle,
So slow down. You're saying some really deep shit. Those cartoons no longer exist. Like you might have a couple cartoons here and
demoralization campaign.
Yeah, we had 5 or 6. You had Thundercats, He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers, and they were all giving a similar message of overcoming and you had to be intelligent, you had to be tough, you had to be strong. I don't know. I don't see them cartoons no more.
No, they're all about your feelings.
Look, and they hit you with bullshit. And don't get me wrong, we had the Care Bears because Dave Chappelle was making fun of the Care Bear stare. He said, "Yeah, the Care Bears had lasers." He was joking.
No, that's Mad Dogging somebody.
yeah. We had we had passive aggressive shit. We had all that shit, but it's just now you don't see the 5 or 6. You got 1 or 2 or maybe none at all, and they're aggressive about other bullshit. And don't get me wrong, you had Bugs Bunny, but that nigga always overcame. Whether it was
but what's funny is that people still gravitate towards strength and honor. For example, I still see people who have Dragon Ball Z stickers on their car.
Yes.
Like when I see stuff like that, like even I don't like this one, One Punch Man, it's like, all right, cool, I get it. They need something. So there's this guy. These things that kids will always gravitate towards to give them strength because I can't tell you how many times I was thinking about those old cartoons when I was a kid, when I was like, man, I gotta like muscle up. I gotta fucking focus and do this shit. Sometimes the shit would pop in my head, man. Like some of the stuff.
I think you just said some really deep shit that those cartoons that are about training and hard work and being strong and overcoming are actually from are Japanese cartoons. You don't see the American cartoons doing that shit no more. So that's clearly a cultural thing now. That
It didn't used to be from another culture.
no, we're in agreement. All I'm simply saying is, I, you just had a very astute observation that you talked about Dragon Ball, where Goku trains for 10 years, dies, and comes back. You talk about One Punch Man, where Saitama works out for years. But you don't see that in American cartoons anymore.
Mm-mm.
You don't see the perseverance. You don't see the He-Mans. You don't see the ones where
G.I.
they got to
Joe,
overcome. You don't see the GI Joe. You don't see the you got to do
Thundercats.
sit-ups. Yeah, you don't see that. You don't see that behavior. You don't see the trials of Lion-O, where he got to fight
Right.
everybody.
In the Book of Omens.
Yeah, so literally, that message is there that okay, you can get. I think the prime example, like how many great boxers have their kids or their children become great boxers? It's very rare because usually if you're a successful boxer and you hit the champion status, you start to get the accolades, then your kids become a little bit spoiled. Like if you pay attention, Floyd Mayweather Jr., his father and his uncle trained him, but the uncle was a better fighter than the father. But still, the reason he was able to ascend because they grew up broke in Michigan someplace. But Mike Tyson, he's like, yeah, my son, he wants to be a boxer, but I don't see it. It's because you know that brokenness, that coming from a tough area, that having to survive. That's a real thing. It's hard to create that. Like you see some of these mixed martial art guys who came up and they got different belts. Like, okay, even though this person had a good childhood, but they still went through the struggle of he got his belt in taekwondo, he got his belt and this, that, and other. So you had that process was replicated of difficulty, overcoming a challenge and persevering. But for the most part, if you come from a good background, it's really hard to create that. You see it maybe in the NBA where you see these guys who played. Shaq's biological father played, Kobe's dad, and so those guys can create these different situations where LeBron, his kids, but it's different when it comes to fighting because it's very difficult to create that situation. But yeah, most people, if the parent is successful, it's very difficult for the kid to be equally successful, or they have to be different when it comes to fighting. But some of these other sports, not so much. You see 3 or 4 football players. You see NASCAR, everybody can drive, nigga. But you see the success in other sports. But for the most part, when it comes to fighting, you don't always see that translate. The second, third generation type thing.
Obstacles unleash your creativity. You don't know how far you can run until you meet a lion in the jungle, and that's the beauty of life. Without these struggles, you may not reach that untrodden territory. It takes persisting and resistance to learn where others have failed because they were impatient. See, obstacles are capable of stretching your creative muscles so you can go beyond the limits. Yo, this is so true because musically or visually, when I'm working on something, I'll have an idea, but I may not have the sounds that I want to get this sound that I'm hearing in my mind. So I have to find a way to take the sounds that I have, to stretch them, change them, shape them, to get close to this idea. Yesterday, I was driving, and I turned the radio on, and I listen to college radio because they play weird shit on the weekends, and it inspires me like crazy. And there was this song, crazy ass, like just out of the jungle folk song they were playing, and it had these weird instruments. This dude was making this chanting sound, and then like I came in like this sound, I was like singing a rhythm over it and shit, and I recorded the shit. I thought on my phone, like it was like a spark of idea just came to me. I was like, I gotta capture this shit right now. And then I went back to play the shit, and it was just, for some reason, it was just white noise. And I'm like, that's interesting. Because normally this shit works with no fucking problem. But what happened, though, is that I wound up recreating the sound and the idea and the rhythm and the melody based off of my memory. So because I didn't have the adequate equipment to record what I wanted at the moment, I had to make do at later on and recreate it almost from scratch.
One of the things that makes us different, like when you put pressure on us or we go through something different, we perform at a higher level. Prime example, sleep deprivation. You know, how many times have you been driving out of state, but you still made your deadline? How many times have
Mm,
you been given a project,
mm, mm.
and whether you're in college, you got four different finals, but you got a project that's due, and they put pressure on you, and you because me and you respond to pressure positively. You know, we came from the
Dude, instead
crucible.
of like pulling over and taking a nap, I will pull over and do jumping jacks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like I will do shit to wake myself the fuck up. Like I'll walk around the car. You know what I'm saying? And like
I
just
pull over sunflower seeds. I told you, your niece taught me that.
you,
Sunflower
yeah,
seeds will
you,
keep
you,
your ass
you
the
got it.
fuck
Okay,
awake.
so what you got to do is you got to choose something hard like almonds or walnuts or pecans or seeds,
See, I
and
don't think it's that.
no, no,
I
no,
think
no,
it's
no, no, no.
actually,
It's a physiological thing also,
yeah.
and so like
Well,
what
see,
happens is like it's keeping the
yeah,
brain awake by chewing on those hard pieces
no,
of things.
see, no, I always attribute it to the actual splitting of the sunflower seed, taking the kernel out. Like it's an activity that makes your brain wake up because you have to pay attention. You're
Hmm.
doing multiple things. Whatever the case is, I don't, I don't like if I have to take a nap. I know the difference between having to take a nap or man, I got 16 more hours in me. But the point making is, like I said, we come from those situations. I'll give you an example. I had interviewed one time for a director position, and I'm interviewing against all these other people, and I had just worked literally I had worked 17-hour shifts, but they weren't even going to give me an interview. They just come over, hey, we'll give you an interview. You got to be ready at 8. So I get off work at 6:30. I jump off that, get my shit together, and then they come back and said, hey, well, some other people that are interviewing are complaining that they didn't get enough sleep, that they want to be able to do it tomorrow. Since we said they can do it tomorrow, we want you can do it. I'm like, nah. And so the first thing I said in the interview was,
It's
if I,
basically, let's look it up for them. Fuck you.
I
Yeah,
wasn't
we're
supposed to
gonna
win.
yeah.
Exactly. Yep. I'm not. So the first thing I said in the interview, I said, if I work at the railroad, if I need 12 hours sleep to be my best, I'll never be my best because the railroad's 24 hours a day. I just worked 16 hours and I blew them up, right? So, dude,
You didn't back down.
we no, I didn't. And so, dude came back 2 days later and said, "Hey, just let you know, you had the best interview. If it was up to me, you would have got the job." Which is basically saying, like, "Hey, the white boys got it." A white boy came to me and told me,
No, listen, this guy who has like fresh, plenty of sleep, we're gonna give him all the advantages, but we just want
yeah,
you
and
Lola.
he's
No hard feelings, nigger. It's just like,
and the guy that told me, well, I've known him he's a complete asshole. He's like, "Hey, just letting you know, Roscoe, Roscoe, I'm telling you, I'm like duct tape." He said, you had the best interview. No one had a better interview." And these other people, their dads were somebody in the company. They had every
nepotism.
advantage. It was beyond nepotism. But the thing was, like I said, if I have to get sleep to be my best, then you working in the wrong place because I'm my best based on the situation, and I'm going to overcome, and I'm going to excel no matter what you put in front of me, no matter what the criteria is. How many mudslides, washouts, Hurricane Katrina, Rita. I've dealt with all those things. In the Northwest, we literally have 20, 30 feet of snow, and you got to have a helicopter that directs the train to move the snow. I've dealt with all those situations, and um, I've dealt with them all. So for you to sit here, oh, I got to get full sleep to be. Nope, not me. I'm my best when I'm there. If I'm there, you got the best version of me, and you got the best you can have. So I know that's me talking like he's talking shit. No, I'm not. That's how we are. And so when my boy tells you that, hey, I'm gonna make this deadline, or yeah, like I'll be honest with you, Roscoe's in better shape than me. But I remember one time, me and Day, I was in college, and the air conditioner went out in my apartment, and they said, hey, if you guys put this air conditioner on top of the apartment, we'll knock $200 off your rent.
How did you pull that off?
Dude,
I want to
I
know.
should.
I can tell you how I would have did, but I want to know how you did it.
Okay, then they climbed up first. We strapped the air conditioner to my back because I'm the lighter of the two, and I climbed all the way to the top. And then he took the and mind you, this is a full size tall carrier. So the air
So,
conditioner they
okay,
had was
did you
short.
use your vehicle to stand on top of your vehicle?
No, 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 no. It is. This is a 2-story
I
apartment.
understand that,
We
but
put a
you got to climb up at some point. So, did you have a ladder? How'd you get a boost?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, no, we got a good old fashioned 20-something foot ladder, put it up there. Like I said, we strapped the air conditioner, full size air conditioner to my back. I climbed up there. I get
How
to the
much did it
top.
weigh?
Oh, that's don't even all of
Two hundred
200
pounds.
pounds.
Okay.
Let's just say 190. And so I climbed. I get I use my legs. I climb up, and I step to the side, and he just pulls me forward. Like literally, I could it without. I needed him to pull me forward. So the ladder goes about
Because you
4
were
feet
fucking
past the
spent.
top. Well, no, 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 no. It was just that heavy balance. And so he pulled my arm, and I came forward. I turned around, set the air conditioner on the roof, and they came and installed it. And like I said, this air conditioning unit was bigger than the ones because the ones they had before were the short, stubby ones,
Okay,
like
but
my
here's the
place.
thing, though. Here's the thing. They presented you with an advantage and a challenge all in the same. And you
Yeah,
thought it was like, you know what? We can fucking do this. We're going to do this.
no, no. Here's my option. They said either you help them or we'll move you to a new apartment. So imagine me having to move all my stuff to a new apartment. That's probably like 4 or 5 apartments away. Like, nope, I'm here. My shit is in here. We're gonna put. It was just one of these things where I decided, I'm. You decide to be successful. Like Tyson said, you decide
You
to get up
seize
or not
the
get up.
moment. You seize an
Yeah,
opportunity, and you put 100% toward that.
and that new air conditioner was way better than the old.
Ice
So
cold. Ah.
yeah. The only bad thing that happened, don't laugh. So when they installed the air conditioner, they didn't do the runoff correctly, and a bunch of the runoff fucked up my old. Remember all my old comics? That's why I lost them was because of that incident. Yeah, so it backed up and it fucked up a lot of my old comics. But
Dude.
that's literally a true. I had I had an autographed copy of Soul and Ice from Eldridge Cleaver. It got wet and got fucked up. That kind of shit.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, so you can't make that story up. That's that. That really happened that way. So, but the point being is that some people, if you issue them a challenge, they're going to. There's you. Part of being an adult is knowing when success is a moving target. Sometimes I got to work harder. Sometimes I got to work smarter. Sometimes I got to identify the different obstacles. And sometimes it is better to avoid something. Sometimes it's better to go over. Sometimes it's better to go through. Sometimes it's better to pick a different route. That's part of maturity. But back then, I was always straightforward, nigga. You couldn't beat me. If you was gonna whip my ass, you couldn't know. So in college, anybody ever tell you, I'm gonna whoop your ass? Well, yes, and we're gonna just have to find out,
Not
ain't we,
this
nigga?
year.
like you sound pretty sure of yourself. Come on, or I talked to we grew up with bullies, but we never did because I couldn't go back and tell my mom I had a bully. I couldn't go tell your dad I had a bully. You know what I'm saying? Now your dad worked at the school system, so he would say stuff different. But my mom was like, nah, don't nobody put their hands on you. Or I remember a nigga had challenged me one time because my grandmother told me, hey, don't leave the playground. So I'm in New York, and this nigga said he did something to me, so I threw his baseball down the street. He said, man, go get that. I said, I can't. He said, I'm gonna kick your ass. I said, look, you think you can kick my ass, but I know my grandmother can kick my ass. So we're going to find out what happens. We want to see how this shit turns out, my nigga, for real.
So, okay. The good thing about obstacles is that helps you it helps you to find the meaning in your life. Your perception of life determines your outcome. You might want to take a cue from the experience of Abraham Lincoln. While he battled with depression all of his life, he led the United States through one of the most challenging times in history, the Civil War. Lincoln discovered the art of finding meaning despite his inner turmoil by challenging his efforts, by channeling his efforts, by uniting the entire nation. He learned the art of endurance. He articulated this attitude and derived meaning from his obstacles. He discovered purpose and found success in a more prominent cause higher than his obstacles. Obstacles can help you discover meaning beyond your inner troubles. Just like Lincoln, you can find your purpose when you cease from peering at your troubles and begin to seek how you can make others happy. You can rise above obstacles by lifting others. This strategy is one of the best approaches to deal with depression. It is a way of starving your problems of time so you can focus on others' suffering. There's the added advantage that by focusing outward, it will enable you to improve inward. So, because we talked about how to recognize these obstacles, let's now discuss how to overcome these obstacles. Find out what's limiting you. Sit down and assess your limiting factors. What are the obstacles standing between you and your goals? Find out why you're not meeting that deadline and avoid dredging up your list of complaints, as it will eventually culminate into excuses. For instance, if you said, I don't have sufficient time, reflect on what you spend your time on and what you give your energy to. Your limiting factors could be procrastination, complacency, or external events. If you said, I don't have enough funds, this is most times related to priorities. Your immediate challenge may be lack of motivation or time, or you may need to commit to learning how to earn extra income and reduce your expenses. That right there. There are things that I want in life for myself, and sometimes I can't afford that shit. So I figure out, all right, I got to hustle up some more bread. How can I make this happen? Because what I found is I've pared my life down to be so agile and lean that it gives me just what I need and provides a little more. So then when there's more that I want than that a little more, I have to go out. Instead of cutting more or cutting what I have, I got to go out and hustle some more, because through abundance is how I find the way to get these things that I really want for myself. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to have nice shit.
It depends on what you're willing to do for it. That's all. It's unsuccessful people can find excuses anywhere. Excuses, reasons, whatever you want to call them. But successful people, they use that emotional intelligence to accomplish their goal or figure out how to get it, whether it's money, whether it's more time, whether I need 2 jobs, whether, like, you know what, I know where I can find one of these. Let me go get it.
Well, yeah, you just find another way to get what it is you're after. So then review the obstacles timeline. How long have you been dealing with the challenge? What attitude or habit is hindering you from overcoming the obstacles? Finding the answers to these questions will enable you to make the right changes. For instance, if you change your job, there could be something about your new job or workplace that is challenging you. It could be the fact that you need to cope with a new environment. Reflect on the different obstacles you have faced in life. Whether you work over them or not, take a cue from your experience and apply the lessons in dealing with the new challenges. Determine what's beyond you. Some challenges are beyond you. They are daunting, and they're so daunting that you don't have a clue on how to overcome them. Perhaps you're even afraid or weak. It shouldn't be the end of the world, but just take a deep breath and list those things you cannot control, such as habits or changing habits right away, how much energy you can exert, your decision when you are offered an opportunity, your lifestyle, exercise, diet, relaxation, all of which affect your mood and personal disposition. Focus on what you can control and start by cultivating all the good habits to have in life. Break down your goals. Giant strides are not about taking one leap to the top of the highest mountain. It's about boldness to pursue your goals in the face of oppositions.
You just fall back on your past successes. Like, okay, I made it through this before, or I'm going to be broke for a while, but I got a bigger goal, or, whatever it is. But that past experience is what's going to help you get through this difficult time. If you've ever dealt with difficult times. Some people ain't dealt with the motherfuckers, but.
Right. So maintain an active plan. Always work with a to-do list. Begin your work day with what you have to do and achieve your goal. Recognize that there are obstacles and distractions, and the lessons from facing obstacles will help you to adapt your plan in finding the best strategy to achieving your goals. Improve your problem-solving skills. If you tend to make decisions based on your instincts, you may try to be more analytic. Here are some strategies you can adopt to make a decision. Worst case scenario, cost-benefit analysis. In the worst case scenario, if I enroll for a course that improves my skill set and I fail, where would I end up? Design a backup plan for that eventuality. Cost-benefit analysis. What would I gain if I complete this course and assess if the benefits are worth the sacrifices? And finally, track your progress. As you pursue your goals, keep a journal of your success and challenges. Establish milestones and compensate yourself when you complete each milestone. So that's why gratitude is so important. You have to reflect on the hard work that has been done, what you have sacrificed, what it took for you to get there. Because people are like, oh, I don't celebrate birthdays and I don't celebrate. Yeah, fuck all that,
cool.
Dude. Fuck all that.
No, that's cool. I get it, religious reasons, but I do celebrate my victories.
Yes.
Even small ones.
And I celebrate my birthday because I'm happy to be here, motherfuckers. I'm grateful.
Yeah. But all I'm simply saying is that I celebrate my victories. Like, hey, job interview, cool. You got the job, hey, let's go celebrate. Like, the chick I'm dating, and she does, okay, let's go out to eat. Or, hey, let's go.
Yeah, and it could be something as simple as go eat your favorite meal.
Because what happens, the reason this is so important is sometimes you get this amnesia of your successes. Mm-hmm. People count their failures way more than they count their successes. And what happens, if you do the math, I'm successful 7 out of 10 times, but I failed 2 or 3 times. And even with the failure, look, I learned this about white people. There are white people at my job that when they fail, they fall forward. Even though they failed at this job, the next job they got is either.
Well, we had an episode about that called Failing Upward.
Yeah. And so sometimes success is a perception thing. Like, okay, did I do better? Did I achieve? Sometimes you're like, okay, cool. I didn't get exactly what I didn't get the car I wanted, but I still got a vehicle. I'm moving to the next level. I'm improving. That vehicle wasn't, that kind of shit. So sometimes success is a moving target sometimes. And sometimes you got to recognize that you did achieve something. But the reason I bring that up, because when you're battling depression, you tend to be focusing on the negative things, not realizing there's a bunch of good things still happening around you. But your mind, for whatever reason, is geared to the negative, and you're
not present. You're not fully present.
Yeah. You're adhering your consciousness to only the bad stuff. Oh, woe is me. This happened. But there's a bunch of other shit that's good that's happening, but you're just not counting it because for whatever reason you got them blinders on. You can't see it. You can't recognize it. And so that's why celebrating your victories is so important, because, okay, cool, we did that. Because you literally have a reference point. Like, hey, what did we do the other day? And we went out to eat because I had a job interview. Okay, cool. See, you were going through all this difficult shit and you achieved. And so sometimes that is your point of reference. Like, okay, the next thing is you've been at work 6 months. You've been at work a year. It's your 1 year anniversary. Oh, now they added you to the retirement. So you have to look at those different things and those milestones. And sometimes some people count milestones they shouldn't, because you have motherfuckers on the flip side that are delirious. Stepchildren. I got stepkids. These motherfuckers think they geniuses, and I'm like, you ain't accomplished nothing. And so you have arrogance without accomplishment. And that's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. You see that shit a lot nowadays. You got these motherfuckers that are crazy.
No, they're called life coaches. Dude, I cannot tell you how many bogus ass. No. I can't tell you how many times I've seen bogus ass life coaches. People will just like, well, you should do it. Like, motherfucker, have you written a book? Is that book sold?
Whoa. Why the fuck do you even need a life coach? That's what you have parents. And I get it. You got a lot more people who are estranged from their parents for various reasons. They grew up in foster care. Shit happens. But you ain't got no family that can get in your ear. Because my family gives bad advice. I could find a motherfucker to give you bad advice, nigga. I'm saying I got motherfuckers on my payroll right now. And, you shouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying?
You got a plethora of that shit.
Yeah, nigga.
Oh,
So,
you want to see how not to do it? Come on over here. Let me show you something.
nigga, yeah, like if you have a family member that is addicted to anything, whether it's alcohol, drugs, whatever, they still give you advice. And this is another thing about being from down south. Down south, you cannot judge a book by its cover. You can have a cousin, an uncle, or auntie, or whatever, who are on drugs, who are on alcohol, but that nigga might have a master's, they might have a doctorate. You just don't know it. And then what'll happen is when that nigga has a moment of clarity, or you ask him about the right subject, that nigga will expound on some shit. Yes, in 1940s. You're like, holy shit! But that nigga had a moment of clarity. He or she just suffers from addiction. Or that this is not an excuse for addiction, but you have a lot of people who that's their coping mechanism. They've lost too many people. They lost all this different shit. Wife died, kid died. They're coping, but they're just not good at coping. But if you ask them the right question, that motherfucker will hit you with a dissertation, and you had no idea that motherfucker knew how to, build software or build, mainframes. So, that is one thing from being from the hood or being from or being country in this case. You can't look at somebody and tell what they've been through or why. And so, that's why it's very important to respect people properly. But back to what I was saying, you got a bunch of dumb motherfuckers that are not successful, but you would swear they were by the way they talk. Like they like, how are you arrogant? You've not accomplished anything. I got a credit score. Who the fuck cares?
Right.
Who cares?
Exactly.
Who the fuck credit score?
Oh, good. Yes, good for you. You can make payments on time. Yeah, you're doing shit you're supposed to be doing, motherfucker. I'm supposed to congratulate you on that?
Nigga, you sucking banker dick. What the fuck you doing? The credit bureau. Or how about these like dumb motherfuckers that join these different? You can raise your credit score 30 points by joining this. Yeah, then you give them access to everything. They have access to all your. Yeah, they're just fucking with you. That's lube. That is that financial rape lube. They're lubing you up for something later on. You stupid fucks. But look, I digress. Just.
So, okay, hold on a second. Yes, it can. But one thing that I was discussing a few moments ago is how when you're going about your day and you're preparing your day, you have a list of to-do things or like smaller sub-goals that lead to a bigger goal. So that this is related to time management. And one thing that has like really benefited me is being efficient with time. So that I know how long it takes me to do something. And I can look at a day and say, all right, I can do these 5 things in one day, but I can't do 6 or 7. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know your bandwidth. So I know I can get in, get out. I know how long it's going to take me to get from A to B and X, Y, Z. So anything beyond that is going to be a reach, and I can't do it. And so that's where saying no comes in. It's like, I can do this today. I can't do it later on, but I can do that tomorrow. You know what I mean? So you schedule these things so that everything fits in, and you have this productive ass life where you get shit done, and you still have time for your personal life to relax.
Look, hold it. See, people who don't know us, but have you ever? I hustle cars on the side. I got a couple side businesses. I do all kinds of goofy shit. And like somebody will kick it with me, and I'm like, look, I need to go pick up a vehicle, and so I'll grab that person, and they'll see me go to the bank, get the loan, get the money. I got 2 other cars that need to be plated. I'll go down and get the cars plated, go pick up that new vehicle, work on it, and then still go back and get it inspected. And,
and then go to work later on.
Yeah, and still go to work at 2:30, and people will be like, if you. They'll tell me if you weren't with me, I wouldn't have got that much shit done. And I just tell them like, look, once I make up my mind that there's 5 or 6 things that I got to do today, because my off days are I'm still a union rep. I still got a regular job. They can call me for overtime. I get called for overtime. I can't turn down $75, $85. You have priorities, and so once I decide I'm gonna get these 5 or 6 things done, I find out where I got to go to do them. I'll be the first one there in line. You just get the shit done. There's failure is not an option. I don't have tomorrow. I don't know for sure what I'm gonna do tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So that whole idea of waiting for tomorrow, then tomorrow gets here, and being from our hood, you could have an emergency tomorrow. You know, you know, our family lives are slightly different, but you know damn well that you could come home to a real problem. You know, kids, whatever. Something could be wrong. So while I got my conscience, I got everything. I'm getting today done, and so tomorrow is focusing on tomorrow. You know that I don't plan. You know what? No. And like I said, people who kick it with us will tell you, like, hey, I don't know how the fuck you got all that shit done. Yeah.
You gotta listen. You gotta be like, if you rolling with me, man, you gotta be ready to fucking jump out the box. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Real quick, because shit's going down. You with or you not? You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I got different speeds. I can shift up. I can shift down. But if you're in one speed, then you shouldn't be around me when I'm doing all this shit. Now, there's probably a time where we can kick it, and I'm in that zone, or I'm in that speed, that gear. That's cool. But know that I have 17 other gears, and I'm up shifting and down shifting all the time.
Look, like the way we are, if somebody's kicking it with us, somebody's around us, and whatever happens, I'm going to be successful at it. If it's a fight, fuck it, we fighting. If we gotta move some shit, fuck it, we got 2 hours to get it done. We're gonna have that truck loaded. Whatever that.
If it's some training, we about to kill it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if it's a game, the motherfuckers gonna play and us gonna lose.
Yeah, even if I lose, the motherfuckers ain't gonna want to fight me again. They ain't gonna want to play me again. They ain't gonna like, hey man, this shit wasn't worth it.
It will not be easy. They had to work for it.
Yeah, they earned everything they got. And so once you make up your mind that I define what success is or what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it. You're not going to stop me from doing it, you know. And so, like Tyson said, that body shot, you decide to stay down or you decide to get up. I'm always going to decide to get up. And they don't make people like us anymore, unfortunately. But hey, I'm just letting you know, if you kick it with us, you're going to achieve. You know, I'm a worst example. Like there was a point.
Oh, there's lots of examples. There's a lot of shitty examples.
Yeah. Like at one point in my life, I was a strip club warrior. I was at that motherfucker, and people would go to the strip club, and the girls would act different with me. They knew me, or I would.
How would they act? How would they act different?
It just
they wouldn't. They didn't look at you like a trick.
No, exactly. They love my joke. So, like, I remember one time this chick came up to me and she said, hey, I heard you were having a party, and we showed up, and you weren't having a party. Dude that used my name. He's like, yes. And her chick name was Fire, and her sister was named, I forgot her sister's name.
Ice?
Cinnamon. No, Cinnamon. It was, and so she's like, hey, me and my sister, we got, 3 girls together because they said it was your party. We get there, you were nowhere to be found. And she said, that's why I was texting you. I'm like, oh, was it? I got a girl. I can't be answering strippers, with your lady.
Mm-hmm.
But
danger.
So she was literally like, they used your name for us, and that's what we
did. That's
some
whole ass shit right there.
Yeah. And so that's the kind of stuff is that, people, they wouldn't have the same experience. So they would have more money than me, go to the club, but the girls wouldn't respond to them the same way. They would respond to me. So I'm like, hey, I apologize. Like, hey, but that's the whole thing is that what Roscoe was telling you, like when we do something, we do it to the fullest. We get good at it. We figure out, the ways around the, whatever the rules are, we figure out what they are and we use them to our advantage, whether it's hard work, whether it's money, whether it's how you whether it's charm, whatever the fuck it is, we're going to do it. And that's it. So I don't know about you other niggas, but we gonna make it.
Well, we just presented ways to diagnose the problems that you have and ways to remove the obstacles and problems that you have. And your reality is your perception. That's all I got. We out. Peace.
Holla back.